Hello everybody and welcome to a new YouTube video. It's me, Danny, also known as I Annihilate. Today, I want to go over the best mid heroes, in my opinion, in the latest patch 7.36b. We had the A patch and I had a video planned for that, but the B patch came out too quickly. There has been some decent changes to heroes. I won't remember all of the changes. There's been so many in the past few patches, but I'll try to cover what I think is important and what I think is just like good about these heroes. So these aren't necessarily in order. I do think that Shadow Fiend and Storm for me are my two favorite best heroes in the patch. Maybe Void Spirit is like more favorite but less good. Um, I still need to experiment a little bit with Ember, but I see his win rate's really high and he seems to perform very well in my matches. I haven't had too much experience on it myself, but I've seen other people play it and whatnot. And again, the stats. Lesh has just remained solid for like a year now. Just always seems like a good hero. And then the honorable mentions, we have Dragon Knight. I think this hero is really punishing versus Ember and Void Spirit specifically. Maybe not so much against Shadow Fiend, Leshrac, or Storm, but the poison facet is really strong. Primal Beast, still kind of the same hero he was before, still a very strong hero. Maybe a little more situational based on your supports, and could maybe have a hard time laning Shadow Fiend or Storm, so be a little careful when you pick it. And then I don't know if I'll keep TA on the list if I update it again. I really feel like this hero is still quite strong, but she has received like nerf after nerf after the massive buffs. Kind of seems more equal right now. If I were to swap this last hero out for something, I'd maybe consider Tiny. I'd maybe consider it's escaping me right now. Wind Ranger. So it'd be the two next on the list potentially. But as far as like 5 best heroes in the patch, we'll start with Shadow Fiend. Oh, I need to change the changes here. Hey guys, just a friendly reminder, if you like this kind of content, I plan on making a lot more content in the future, so go ahead, leave a comment for suggestions, feedback for future content, or, simply subscribe. Thanks a lot. Pretty much everyone's always taking the Shadowmire facet. It is just like it's like completely night and day difference in the laning phase at least, and even later on just slowing people with the raises is great. It's good synergy with your ult as well, so they don't run away too fast from you. Lasting Presence is like okay in theory, but you used to get this for free, and it just doesn't feel like it does that much, even with the right-click build. Just winning your lane and securing your early game seems a lot better. Now for mid, it is interesting. You can go right-click or magic. I personally think the magic build is almost always better, but I have seen people have success with the right-click build. So it kind of fits this weird niche where you can do right click or magic, so you're very flexible. You can pick this hero quite early even. I don't think there's too many lanes you're too worried about either. I've been having a lot of fun just going like Treads, Yashikaya, Blink, BKB, Ags, and stuff like that. Maybe a Yules in some games for some catch. I exclusively played right-click Shadow Fiend in previous patches, and I think it's probably even a little bit better to do so now than before as well, even with the changes. The only caveat is this skill feels really bad to level as a magic Shadow Fiend. I usually get stats for a while, whereas it probably feels fine as right-click. I still have to try some right-click on the new stuff. You basically just get your souls for free. You have this new ability that isn't too great, but better than nothing a lot of the times. And yeah, just a completely amazing hero. There's been some games on my stream, twitch.tv/iannihilate, where me or someone else has gotten like 40 souls just killing kills and then doing big ags ults, and it just feels really fun. This hero is back for sure. Some people are already getting sick of it. It's in so many games, and yeah, it's that Shadow Fiend. Storm, my favorite, probably my best hero right now. Even with the small nerfs he got in the B patch, I believe, still a phenomenal hero. This hero generally has been missing mana as part of his kit for a while. Like we had patches where, 4 null talismans to help with his mana pool with the mana cost reductions. We've had patches where the ult costs less mana. Now the ult costs the most it ever has, or at least like maybe second most it ever has. But the extra mana regen you get from Galvanized, some games you even just get a Meteor Hammer to like finish your Kaya with for the extra mana regen. Like I've had games at like 25 minutes with 48 mana regen, which is ridiculous. It feels really good. It kind of feels like you're playing the old Storm Spirit with like the 2015 Bloodstone or the 2014 Bloodstone. It feels fun. Statics, I was like boomer mentality on Static Slide at first. I kind of preferred Shock Collar because it has like really cool play potential with the Aghanim Scepter and 25 talent. But Static Slide just secures your early game so well. There's so many times where I'm clearing even just a neutral camp and I don't have to put my hero next to the creeps. I can just throw the remnants at them and kite them. It keeps me healthier for the early game so that I can make more moves so I don't use as much HP. And lane as well. Even like I was like, oh, this should be good if I lane a Lina or Huskar or something and throw my remnants at the wave defensively for CS instead of having to walk in. But it also like works both sides where if you're against a melee hero like Ember or Void Spirit, they like can't really dodge the Q a lot of the times because you can shoot it forward a bit. And it makes the hero really like strong in lane, like a really big lane bully a lot of the time. But yeah, amazing hero. Moving on, Ember Spirit. I still kind of believe in some sort of a chain gang situation. I don't think that the chain gang... I think chain gang is a great facet. I also think that the chain talents are quite underrated, but it's really hard to pass up on 55 slight damage, double fist damage, like charges, 100% flame guard DPS. Like these are really hard talents to compete with. And the double impact facet helps a little bit in your lane in the early game. A lot of times you do get that extra hit off, and most importantly, it'll proc Maelstrom. You're usually going to proc Mage Slayer or Maelstrom. Like those are your two first items generally on Ember Spirit. And even just like if it hits the second slide at the end, right, like you're reapplying the Mage Slayer for another 3 seconds, that can make a big difference. And yeah, it just like makes it a lot easier to nuke creep waves, guaranteeing more Maelstrom procs as well. I'm a big fan of the double impact facet when I've played it. I still think that this hero suffers from all the items he builds being nerfed, and like the cast times are kind of annoying. A lot of complaints about that, but in a pretty good spot just because of the meta. Like maybe you don't want to lane Shadow Fiend, but pretty good against Storm and Void Spirit, which are pretty popular right now. So has a good place in the meta, feels pretty good to play, and I would recommend. Next, we have Void Spirit, and I love this hero right now. The all damage barrier from the Sanctuary facet is phenomenal. It's crazy how many times this has like saved me, or I'm like, wow, I'm just really tanky right now. Because on top of it, like being an all damage barrier, you get a little bit more armor and magic resistance from your stats. So a lot of people ask me like, what does intrinsic edge do? You don't get extra attack speed or damage from your stats, but mana regen from int, magic resistance from int, health regen from strength, armor from agility, those all get boosted. I don't think I've forgotten any there, but not attack speed, not health, not mana. Generally, I've been going 4-1-4, so maxing Pulse first, getting Dissimulate either at level 4 or level 8, just for an escape, and then maxing it later anyway. I've been enjoying Mage Slayer into Aghanims or Manta into Aghanims. There's so many different builds you can do. It feels like you could build so many different ways. I've even gone Orchid first in some games. And it feels like you're very strong at laning from your base damage. You get to tank a lot more spells in lane. Like it's not a physical shield anymore. So if you're laning a Shadow Fiend, you can actually block a raise or two here and there, which can make a big difference. And yeah, just great hero, honestly. Big fan of Void Spirit right now. Next, we have Leshrac. There isn't too much to talk about with this hero. He's pretty much been the same for about a year now. Kaya into Bloodstone, sometimes Yule's into Bloodstone, sometimes Yule's Kaya into Bloodstone. This chronoptic nourishment, I don't know how to say this, somebody honest, you guys can make fun of me in the comments, but this feels like really OP. I haven't played it since they nerfed it to 50% on creeps, but even just in lane, just hitting the enemy hero, you get a lot of passive mana. It feels like you have a Clarity running constantly, and your mana costs are really low. Like level 1 and level 2 Lightning Storm are really efficient, or I wouldn't say efficient for damage to mana, but you get the little slow and you get to harass a bit and the cooldown's low. You get to spam it a lot. Still going like 0-4-2 a lot of the time on Leshrac with 2 points of lightning first, and just farming. Great hero. They nerfed the AoE intelligence thing, I think, in the B patch as well, but I haven't really noticed a big difference. It feels like my circles I put all over the screen are still really big, so that's great. Love Leshrac. Now, I talked a little bit about Dragonite before. I'm not going to go over these honorable mentions too much. I think that there's been a lot of debate over this hero. Some people think that the Fire Facet is good. It is not. Cleave is actually not that good at fighting. It's good for farming, but you farm pretty quickly anyway with the Corrosive Facet. I think the Corrosive Facet is by far the best in the default. And maybe there's some games where they just have so much healing, like Io Marcy, Io Leshrac, where you could consider getting the Frost Dragon for not so much the slow, but just the healing reduction. I've really enjoyed and not enjoyed playing against. Like, I've enjoyed playing as and not enjoyed playing against as a melee hero. The Corrosive Dragon with like 2 to 3 points in Worm's Wrath, every time you get clicked, it hurts so bad. You also get to hit towers without your ult sometimes. I would say you should probably pop your ult for the attack range and a little bit of safety there, and it does give bonus damage, but with level 2 ult, you basically have a free deso. It's like minus 10 armor and 60 bonus damage with your ults active. It feels like crazy. Like, sometimes I'll just be playing support on one of my off-roll games, get blinked on by a Dragonite at like 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh, it's just a Dragonite, and he two-shots me. It's a lot of damage. Certainly one of the fastest you have to try before you really understand how strong it is. For Primal, you're going to go romp and stomp pretty much. Play exactly how you did before. Hero is pretty much the same. Very good at like enabling aggressive support. So if you have a Grimstroke on your team that can buff you, or even an Io, if you have Sky Mage on your team, anything super aggressive, it's great. You don't really want to have the Treants and stuff like that. Or if you need some BKB lockdown, just kind of like a jack of all trades mid in some cases, but you really would like to be more aggressive in the early game, although farming is not too hard. You can double farm so many camps on this hero. TA, like I said, I might replace this in the future. I might make another update video in the C patch, depending on how far away that is, and I think this hero is still great. I think getting Meld level 1 with like the 0.5 level of Psyblades is fantastic. I think that like the way Blink works with Refraction, now that these are like a barrier instead of just getting owned by dots, is great. I think it works great with BKB. Still a lot of positives for the hero. One nerf that definitely hurts her is the Shard minimum silence went from 1.5 to 1. And this hero was also picked a lot against stuff like Puck and the Spirits for that reason, and they seem to be a little more durable against that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I think the hero is still awesome, and if you're a TA fan, no reason not to pick it. But yeah, these are my like top 5 mid heroes for the patch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave any comments if you have any questions, and yeah, till next time. Thanks for watching.